Begin transmission. This is a message from the anonymous charity also known as The Collective. Today's broadcast date is May 6, 2019. Please subscribe to our backup channel listed below as well as our Twitter account for daily updates. Today, in this transmission, we will update you on the movements of nanotech and AI. Billions have been and continue to be poured into nanoweapons research. Nanobots are the real concern about wiping out humanity because they can be weapons of mass destruction, said physicist Louis Del Monte, to his hit secret clearance on U.S. Defense Department programs at Honeywell. He also previously worked on advanced computers at IBM and has several patents on microelectronics. Nanoweapons are much smaller than a strand of human hair, and the insect-like nanobots seen today can be programmed to perform various tasks, including injecting toxins into people or contaminating the water supply of a major city and more. Let's not forget that these autonomous bots will be self-replicating. This would become increasingly useful as a replacement for the human-run, Red Cross and UN depopulation through vaccination operations. Quote, I think it is no exaggeration to say we are on the cusp of the further perfection of extreme evil, an evil whose possibility spreads well beyond that which weapons of mass destruction bequeath to the nation-states, onto a surprising and terrible empowerment of extreme individuals. End quote. Bill Joy. A side note, all the fear porn put out about uranium and nukes has been a distraction to keep you from looking at AI developments over the past decades. Countries have been sanctioned, restricted severely, by the USA over uranium. What's the big deal? AI is powered by uranium, through nuclear fission. While they keep you afraid of bombs and easily fixable leaks and the horrors of uranium production, Rome has gained full control over the technology industry on every front, by using its military hand to keep it out of countries not in agreement with the elite. Canada, the home of D-Wave, was the largest uranium producer in the world until 2009 when Kazakhstan took the lead. In 2013, Canada produced 9,331.5 tons of uranium, all from mines in northern Saskatchewan. Uranium is a radioactive metal with the potential to cause a spectrum of adverse health effects ranging from renal failure and diminished bone growth to damage to the DNA. Though miners are paid in full with cancer and other deadly afflictions, doctors and citizens protest the mining of uranium in Canada. The government is undeterred. Canada's Non-Proliferation Treaty of 1970 ensures the public that Canadian uranium cannot be used for military purposes, but only for peaceful means such as electrical generation. In 2013, Canada delivered uranium to India for the first time. More than 200 Canadians and 100 Australian scientists signed open letters to Canada's Justin Trudeau and Australia's Malcolm Turnbull, urging support of the killer robot ban. Many have also pleaded with the UN to put a ban on autonomous weapons, but of course, their cries to not destroy humanity have fallen on deaf ears. The ban being requested is not as wholesome as it seems. Big surprise. The ban would not stop the development of military robotic weaponry but would simply ensure there would be some level of human involvement. Isn't that comforting? The propaganda will say otherwise, should this ban be actively pursued. Toby Walsh of the University of South Wales states. My only concern is whether countries have the courage of conviction to do it now, push for a responsible regulation of killer robots, or whether we will have to wait for people to die first. Bingo. In 2013, President Hussein Obama disclosed the U.S. government's $100 million brain mapping research project called BRAIN. This was matched by a $1.3 billion commitment from the European Union. Leaked documents reveal that DARPA researchers were on the verge of being able to change people's moral beliefs, stop political dissent through remote control of people's brains, and more. Smart dust, added in say chemtrails aka neural dust, scientists at the University of California, Berkeley revealed they have found a new way to interact with the brain and to allow human brains to interact with machines. By inhaling electronic sensors the size of dust particles, which attach themselves to the cortex, humans are easily remotely controlled through ultrasound. This will also make it possible for them to take that neural netted system that has your brain imprint on it and transfer it to a robotic clone or double. As we have most likely seen with Hillary Clinton doubles 2, 3 and 4. By turning everything smart, thanks to our cell phones, which enmesh our bodies in the internet, humans are more watchable, programmable and controllable. Just the way the elite like you. In Beijing on January 22, 2015, Mr. Kurzweil stated that Google's co-founder, Larry Page, hired him to build a synthetic neocortex, to link everyone's brain to the cloud. Google co-founder Larry Page is a leading promoter of immortality through technology. Cornell engineers have constructed a DNA material with capabilities of metabolism, in addition to self-assembly and organization. 3 key traits of life, using what they call DNA-based assembly and synthesis of hierarchical. Biosynthesis and biodegradation are key elements of self-sustainability and require metabolism to maintain its form and functions. Artificial life is a must-have for the elite's new world order. Bilderberg, like so many others, have already confirmed their intentions with this in 2015 when they reported, "Artificial intelligence is a tool to massively amplify our ability to control the world. Once they wipe out the required amount of humans in their harvest, enough to secure control over the remaining population, by using implantable AI, thought-reading surveillance aka brain transparency and more, there will be a call for peace and unity of all humanity, under an artificial intelligence, which the elite already market as being more humane and superior to the violent and war-hungry human infestation which has destroyed the earth. After the culling, there will also be many other services which must be held up by artificial intelligence, as the elite will never trust you to govern yourselves. They will ensure their own survival, thanks to their underground cities and avatars. Their goal has always been to be as gods in this world. To live forever, in this physical form, there has to be an autonomous system made for unnatural existence. And it's all in a lame attempt by them to hide from God. The designs showed a new route to create dynamic machines from biomolecules. We are at a first step of building lifelike robots by artificial metabolism, said Shogo Hamada, research associate in the Luo lab. Even from a simple design, we were able to create sophisticated behaviors like racing. Artificial metabolism could open a new frontier in robotics. Everything from its ability to move and compete, all those processes are self-contained. There's no external interference. Ultimately, the system may lead to lifelike self-reproducing machines. A Development, Concepts and Doctrine Centre, DCDC, of the UK Ministry of Defence, report discusses goals regarding AI and nanotechnology using probability and pattern recognition in the short term, as we see in full swing today, and longer term to aid knowledge management, fancy wording for censorship and mind control, and support decision-making, brain transparency. A Cambridge University conference on global catastrophic risk found a 5% risk of nanotech weapons causing human extinction before the year 2100. Would be amazing if we lasted that long. On April 25, 2019, Kim Jong-un and President Putin met for the first time. Kim warned, the situation on the Korean peninsula and the region is now at a standstill and has reached a critical point where it may return to its original state as the US took a unilateral attitude in bad faith. The DPRK will gird itself for every possible situation. Military nanotechnologies were outlined in a 2010 report from the Pentagon's Defense Threat Reduction Agency, including how transgenic insects could be developed to produce and deliver protein-based biological warfare agents, and be used offensively against targets in a foreign country. Nano-weapons have been used by the USA in attempts to assassinate foreign leaders, their families and more. The United States, Russia, Germany and others have been actively researching nanotechnology-based mini-nuke devices, among other things. NASA is perfecting its autonomous nanotechnology swarm, ANTS, bots. See links below. The chief novelty is in its use of neural nets to train other neural nets. Michael Riley, a NASA researcher who is working on ANTS. By the way, have you noticed all the Ant-Man appearances in the Marvel films? Amazon's Prime Video also has a full TV series on Ant-Man. This is what they do. They push it out into the open via programming. Thanks Bezos. Dr. Noel Sharkey, a leading robotics and artificial intelligence expert and professor at Sheffield University, stated in 2013. In America they are already training more drone pilots than real aircraft pilots, looking for young men who are very good at computer games. They are looking at swarms of robots, with perhaps one person watching what they do. In America they are already training more drone pilots than real aircraft pilots, looking for young men who are very good at computer games. They are looking at swarms of robots, with perhaps one person watching what they do. The public is not being invited to have a view on the morals of all of this. Already in the USA 4,000 warehouses had been found to be using robots in 2018. At one Amazon site you can see only 6 human employees overseeing a massive 100,000 plus square foot warehouse, housing tens of thousands of packages. Do you never wonder why suddenly it is impossible to get a job, regardless of your country, and why so much money is funneled into AI and automation, but not back into society? They are preparing for your end. They are replacing you while they work out the kinks and continue to slowly depopulate with poverty, disease and wars. You honestly think this is all being made for your convenience? How will you be able to afford it without a job? Do not be so blind. They do nothing for you. They need this technology for themselves, so they can live forever in this life as gods. We have mentioned the Sentient World Simulation, SWS, before. This is a continuously running model of the real world which the public is told has been active since 2006. The truth, however, is that on February 27, 1969 the CIA began their simulated imagery program. It has been going on for a very long time. This program predicts and evaluates future events and courses of action. We have seen the programming and mind control in movies, books and music, preparing us for AI control and predictive control. SWS real-time simulations are currently active in up to 62 nations, including Iraq, Afghanistan, and China. The simulations siphon through breaking news, census data, economic indicators, and climactic events in the real world, along with proprietary information such as military intelligence, data from hospitals, mosques, pipelines, and people. All cybersecurity servers have moved to Israel, leaving Israel's Talpiot program involved with control of the world's cybersecurity systems and high-technology sectors, creating what's known as kill switch diplomacy. Naturally, if we follow this, still considered new Operation Back, we see the elite have been working on this for a long time. Nothing is new. Nothing. These same technologies have been around before. History always repeats. That is the game. This exponential growth in a field humans are uneducated in, is leading quickly to a new world order, with the help of control through alliance. For example, the European Union is obliged to participate in American wars. Why? NATO. NATO was founded after the Pope's Second 30 Years' War from 1914 to 1945, uniting the European and Western world. Every country involved and occupied by NATO are subjects to the Pope, whose bloodlust is placated by Rome. In 1949, Asia was brought under the same control, after a series of planned protests and propaganda smears. CFRs George C. Marshall and D. Nixon facilitated the successful Communist Revolution in 1949, while U.S. President Harry Truman issued the Second Emergency War Powers Edict in 1950, which is still in effect with President FDR's Edict of 1933. The Korean War, which was America's first war without a congressional declaration of war, was launched, and that is how it has been done ever since. Russia is the only remaining military power, with no solid American government control ties. Hence the propaganda smears. Thales Raytheon Systems provides NATO with integrated air and missile command and control systems, which cover NATO's territorial space, including 15 European countries. All of this naturally leads to concern from those who are not blind to the world around them. Human Rights Watch called for a ban on killer robots, after estimating that there are at least 380 types of military equipment that employ sophisticated smart AI technology in operation in China, Russia, France, Israel, the UK, and the United States. The Korean Advanced Science and Technology Institute, KAIST, and Hanwha are developing missiles that can control their speed, altitude and change course without direct human intervention. Samsung Techwin, now Hanwha Aerospace, and Korea University also developed and produced the Samsung SGRA-1, which is equipped with surveillance, tracking, firing, and voice recognition. These cannons, which litter the Korean demilitarized zone, are labeled as Lethal Autonomous Weapons System, LAWS. Similar automated stationary weapons include the Super Aegis II and the Israeli Sentry Tech systems. DARPA is currently working on AI programs involving autonomous, surveillance insect drones, as is France, the Netherlands, and Israel. DARPA's AI R&D just finished hosting an Artificial Intelligence Colloquium, AIC, March 6 to 7, 2019 in Alexandria, Virginia. Dr. Peter Heinam, DARPA's Deputy Director states, "In addition, we are actively working on over 50 programs that are leveraging AI in some capacity. We the anonymous charity were the two as observers." On February 12, 2019, the Pentagon revealed what it wants you to know about their AI advanced weaponry. The 17-page strategy summary, which can be found below, and in Archam's folder, says that AI holds great promise for the military, and it is expected to impact every corner of the department, spanning operations, training, sustainment, force protection, recruiting, healthcare, and many others. By 2001, Nanoscience and Technology Initiative, NSTI, was set up by the Government of India. India's Defence Research and Development Organisation has been doing extensive work in the field of nanotechnology to enhance its application in defence sector. The Bengaluru-based Log9 Materials startup is also collaborating with the defence industry to help it build various products and applications while conserving energy. Bengaluru, also known as Bangalore, is the Silicon Valley of India. Russia has created another research city, called ERA. Fedor Tigas, the designated director of the Technopolis, the work done at this military-guarded, secret city will concentrate on the following initiatives: information and telecommunication systems, artificial intelligence, robotic complexes, supercomputers, technical vision and pattern recognition, information security, nanotechnology and nanomaterials, energy tech and technology life support cycle, as well as bioengineering, biosynthetic and biosensor technologies. Russia's Ministry of Defense is planning for over 2,000 scientists and engineers to work at the site by 2020, though it opened in 2018. Like many of the American secret cities, the ERA Technopolis is complete with all available social comforts for young specialists and their families, including shopping venues, schools, kindergartens and public transport, just like the Soviet secret cities did decades ago. By 2018, IBM's Watson had been deployed in an oncology department, from which over 14,000 patients worldwide received advice based on AI calculations. As one would expect, if Watson generated a recommendation that contradicted the doctor's, they would typically conclude that Watson wasn't competent. Just as doctors do if any other doctor or patient contradicts their assessment. The excuse for this lack of blind acceptance of machine control over health, is that the AI can't explain why its treatment was plausible in a way humans can understand. As far as in-home production of nanotech, meaning one could build their own diamonds, medicine, weapons or anything else using molecular nanotechnology, MNT, this has been discussed since 2005. The battle could go one of two ways. The elite will make nanotech a home feature, like they did with the radio, TV, computer and smart devices which we have deeply exposed as the spyware and controlling mechanisms they are. The elite continue as they have thus far with this technology, working in the shadows and keeping you in the dark. The latter is the way they can make big bucks on this system, which is vital to their plans. Already the industry is kept to military and private companies, using this as a vein of money flow pumping directly into the elite. Rest assured the elite likely have their own in-home nanofactories producing the artificial life they need to live forever, as this is no new technology. However, they do not want you to live forever. They do not want you to prosper or grow. They do not want you to be able to get a hold of things that will benefit you. Should it ever be released for public use, beware. In June of 2018, thousands of Google employees signed a petition protesting the company's involvement in a military operation called Project Maven, in which the analysis of videos taken by a drone were accelerated so that the military could more readily identify potential targets. Google retreated publicly from the operation. However, Alphabet/Google's CEO Eric Schmidt is still listed on the Defense Innovation Advisory Board of China. Google's Vice President of Wireless Services, Milo Medin, is also on China's Military Defense Advisory Board. This should be no surprise as everyone is working for everyone because the only divisions in this world are in your mind. In Google's semi-secret project Dragonfly, China's search engine was born. Google employees have carried out their own investigation into the company's plan to launch a censored search engine for China and say they are concerned that development of the project remains ongoing, according to The Intercept. Well, they have to have an even more radically censored search engine soon, to limit your ability to get information. Thanks to the internet, no one goes to the library anymore, therefore few will return to libraries for information now. Instead they check social media feeds. Everything you see, think, read and hear is already completely censored indoctrination. However, the New World Order control will be absolute and far more devastating and restrictive. China in particular has been leading the AI race for quite some time, and due to our restrictive immigration policies, China has had an unprecedented opportunity to attract top talent from overseas to develop AI. We have winning the slogan "Make America Great Again." Well, China works off the same slogan too. They want to lead the world in this field. In fact, China nanotechnology companies have also teamed up with USA's Veeco Instruments. In March 2003, CAS, Peking University and Tsinghua University announced a joint national center for the nation's long-term nanotech development. In keeping with their Gnostic, occult beliefs of the mother goddess figure, we will continue to see the ever-growing inversion of the natural female as well as the rise of the divine feminine. Many more female leaders will come into play, many more female AI will come into the spotlight, as will non-AI females. As Asia is the AI area of the world, it is no surprise that China's state-run news agency, Xinhua, has yet another AI news broadcaster on their team. Xinxiaoman was developed jointly by Xinhua and search engine company Sogou. As the need for AI worship grows so that you do not catch on to the obvious, machines are being given human rights, citizenships, and being made into gods. Minder, the goddess of mercy, takes a gender-neutral human form in the Kodaiji Buddhist temple of Kyoto, Japan. This is an ancient former capital, containing many temples, shrines, and imperial gardens. As the birthplace of Japanese tradition, the city attracts some 53 million tourists every year. A key advertising place for an AI hermaphrodite deity, which cost 100 million yen, $909,090. 666 inverted. This idol has had a camera implanted in its left eye to give the impression of eye contact. Minder is programmed to give a 25-minute speech based on the deeply philosophical religious text called the Heart Sutra, which is well known in Japan and Asia. Monks don't discuss the true meaning of the Heart Sutra to worshippers, they just read it like poetry. Kihei Ogawa says, "We see this in every formed religion, controlled context keeping the masses deceived and ignorant." In 2017, Shibuya Mirai, meaning future, became the first AI bot to be granted official residence in Tokyo, Japan. Of course we know the famous Saudi Arabian AI citizen named Sophia, meaning wisdom, which was part of the Future Investment Initiative held in the kingdom's capital city of Riyadh. Since Saudi Arabia is running out of oil and has no workforce, it is no surprise why they, like India, race to embrace AI. In order to keep from being redundant, we will simply list off some details regarding some female symbolism. Sex is one main focus of the occult, as is gender, spiritual strength, weakness. Switching the spiritual powers of the genders creates an irreparable rift in humanity. There is male and female, each having their own significance and strengths. No one gender is whole, no one gender is complete. There must be equal male and female components, who uphold their proper and rightful qualities. If both genders were equal and complementary to each other, as they naturally are, humanity would be strong and secure. The elite carried out their agenda for male superiority programming, for generations, which left centuries of male-dominated religions, education and leadership. Aggressive and violent and controlling behaviors were encouraged on a societal level, leaving us now with what are accepted as natural male traits. As the elite programming grew and ever increasingly demeaned and discouraged the female population by keeping them uneducated and degraded, the elite then had to destroy the only area they had allowed women to obtain, the home. It didn't take long to dismember the family structure, thanks to a few wars and economic collapses in the countries where religion is not also the political structure. Since the natural order of humanity was derailed, and the nucleus castrated, the rest has fallen into place easily. Women have an elite-written and constructed history of mental, physical and spiritual inequality and enslavement. As the problem was created and amplified, so was the solution. Women all over the world have jumped on the New Age feminism, divine sacred female agenda, which will continue until it has successfully completed the elite's agenda to decompose humanity. Divide and invert. Even Lucifer is depicted with breasts. Occult, pagan symbolism is always interchangeable, invertible, lies. Now we have trans and homo and fluid and any other term people can come up with. Now we have star children, who have no clue what they are truly referring to, and yoga masters, and the world revolves around your emotions. Because the more labels you have for it, the more distorted the reality of it is, and the harder it is to fight. Lies always spread. The more the merrier. Female symbolism is seen in buildings such as the Dome and Oval, such as the shape of St. Peter's Basilica Square, the U.S. Congress Building, the Taj Mahal and others, which represent female body parts. Breasts and womb, in respective order. The symbolism of CERN, a portal, as in the birthing canal, represents rebirth, new birth, birth of a new world order. Portals, bringing hidden entities into our plane, circle of life, cycle of life, etc. An obvious one is the triangle, which, aside from other meanings, also symbolizes the female genitalia, as does the rose, lily, lotus, and yoni. Though now regarded as a bisexual emblem, the yang and yin symbol is wholly feminine. During the Sung period it referred to the cyclic phases of the moon. Now yin is only attributed to the female power in the mandala, was a cognate of yoni, and yang is attributed to the opposite, masculine. The list goes on and on. However, these main symbols should help you see more. The propaganda is rampant in movies and TV shows and music. One need not look further than right in front of one's eye. Have a look at the pinned tweet we have on Twitter, The Collective Ek, regarding symbolism. What was it that Q said? Symbolism will be their downfall. The elite's masters are hermaphrodites, having no male or female form. They take on both or either. As we have explained before, the elite follow the fallen angels aka aliens, which, before their banishment, came to Earth and kidnapped and raped women they had lusted after. Keeping these women enslaved on their island, genetic testing and alterations were done to them which produced offspring popularly known as Nephilim, giants, Yetis etc. They had to be unnaturally created, as aliens cannot reproduce naturally. This unnatural mixing of species continues still, as it survived, thanks to the underground cities and cloning centers in heavy use today. It is time for history to repeat again. Sex with robots, implanted nanotech, artificial. This is why the elites have always pushed for genetics, AI and technology cooperation. It is not for your health. If one looks into the stories of the elite's goddesses, you will find many have the same story, because they are the same entity, different countries, different names, which is usually a story of how they were raped and abducted. Some popular goddesses include Lilith, Queen of Babylon, Indian Lakshmi or Kali, who bore the title of Kunti or Kunda, root of the ubiquitous Indo-European word cunt, the Egyptian Isis, the Greek Venus, the Celtic Ipera, the Vatican's Mary, Demeter, the Sumerian Inanna, the Chinese Guanyin, the Japanese Amaterasu, the Tibetan Tara, the Judaic Sophia and the Scandinavian Freya. We already know how the elite spread their occult teachings through early tribes in all of these areas, and societies and cultures born in deception, die in it as well. The mainstream story for the Divine Feminine is thus, the Divine Feminine is experiencing a re-emergence, a rebirth into the collective consciousness. The less-known female counterparts to the male secret societies such as Freemasons and Illuminati, help to carry out these agendas. It is easy to see through the agendas of the elite. Kihei Ogawa, who is Associate Professor of Intelligent Robotics at the University of Osaka and creator of the AI goddess Minder, stated, people who see the AI for the first time, just think, oh, what's happened here, and then just accept it. If we have to comment on this, all has been lost. The New World Order will most likely be a technocracy led by a female mother goddess artificial being. Expect it. We, the Collective HQ, will continue to monitor this topic over the coming weeks and months, and we will update you again in the near future. This has been a message from the anonymous charity known as The Collective. Today's broadcast date is May 6, 2019. End of transmission.